Single women of London, please tell me this. Where do you meet people in the wild? I get so many comments from people being like, get off the dating apps and go meet someone in the wild. But once you get beyond the age of like 25, I feel like that doesn't happen that much in London. And while normally I would be happy to make the first move because no one else seems to be doing it, I feel like I can't do it. So if you do meet people in the wild, tell me where you do that. I'm talking specific bar names. What activity were you doing? How many of your friends were with you? Give me the details in the comments.
What advice do you have for someone dating in London?
Well, traffic's bad, so make sure it's someone local to you.
Don't go for roadmen.
Don't go for footballers. Don't go for boys on Snapchat. Don't go for a boy who looks like he's going to give you a lot and then just doesn't.
Don't date Aquarius men.
Don't go for anyone. Yeah, go for girls.
Trait and main, cape and cane. Be cool.
Date somebody that you've been introduced to, not met online. That's how I met my husband. I married my husband, but he was a gangster.
Obviously, if I knew that this was going to be the outcome, like, I would have never done something like this, but you don't know when you're in the moment.
You're black, you're single, you live in the UK, you are open to dating just black people, go to Luton. I went to Luton, and for every 1 minute walk, I saw a black person.
As you see from today's video, we're going to be talking about dating in London, or in this case, the lack of dating in London according to modern women who live there, because they claim there aren't enough men. These career boss ladies told us to F off, they made the workplace hostile, and now are surprised they can't find men to cheat on. I mean, date. Sorry, Freudian slip. So the title of today's article is No SEX in the City for Women in London as Report Sees Excess of Female Singles in the Capital. Feminists celebrate that more women are graduating college, which means 90% of them only want men who are also college educated, if not be more educated, and I'm pretty sure they want someone who makes more money than they do too.
What do you do for a living?
Private equity.
How many years of experience do you have doing that?
12.
How much do you make in a year?
Good question. About 250?
Are you happy with what you earn? Do you think you're paid fairly?
I do.
What salary do you think you need to earn to live in London?
180.
So if less than 50 of the men are going to college, right off the bat there's less men for each woman. And then add the fact that these career women want the men to make more money, so let's be generous and say half of those college-educated men make more money, which means, by that rough estimate alone, for every college-educated man that makes more than them, there are 2 single college-educated women. Also, we know they want the man to be taller at least, let's not say 6 feet or over, so out of that 25% men, let's say a quarter of those men are taller than the average woman. That equals to 6% of the men that they're after. To make things simple, out of 100 college-educated people, more than half are women, so 55 to 60 women are going after 6 men. If you don't believe me, here's a TikTok of the type of man a London female wants to date.
I like rich boys, daddy's money's boys, golf caddy boys, wallet daddy boys. I like the party boys with the polo fit, Audi Q6, club membership. I like the brunettes with the baby face, have a PhD, trust fund just in case. If you're a playboy, just go away, boy. You got a boat, boy?
The first thing she said was rich boys, then daddy's money's boys. Not hardworking, honest, or loyal. Nope, just a free meal ticket. Back into the article. And the subtitle is, Data Scientist Reports a Notable Urban Disparity That Has Left Women Struggling to Meet a Family-Oriented Partner. Going back to that rough estimate, if there are 10 college-educated career women fighting for one man that meets their standards, why would he settle down? He can have a rotation of 1 female per day and still have 3 backups. Sorry ladies, this is the world you demanded. You wanted to be strong and independent. You wanted that SEX in the city lifestyle. So here you go. Here's what a London Chad has to say about the dating market.
I feel like a lot of guys are less emotionally mature than girls. A lot of my 20s I've been single as well, and I noticed I've grown more as a person. People say as well, like, your 20s are, it's important to be single because because you change so much as a person. When I was in the relationship, I felt like I became less sociable in terms of like being happy with myself. Being in a relationship at that point slowed that down, if that makes sense. Right.
But you gotta see the comments. Whatever you say, Mr. Beautiful, handsome, and emotionally aware, get this man into witness protection. The girlies are going to be frothing. Where do I find him? He is fine. Love his bag. The accent even made him more attractive. I can't always fall in love with random people on the internet. I have no idea what this man said, but yes to whatever it is. I need him. And I can go on showing how many females would drop their panties for educated Chads and Tyrones. That just proves my point. The average bloke has to wine and dine these thoughts to maybe even get a French kiss, while these Chads can get a straight hookup if they found his social media. So, if they're also wanting a handsome man with a square jaw, that might be like 1 Chad per 50 women. Back to the article. And the author of this article is a feminist writer, Charlotte Gill. No need to look into her, they're all the same. Anyways, let's get balls deep into this and see who or what she blames this on. Younger women in London have a harder time finding a family-oriented partner than elsewhere in the UK, according to a leading demographer. Why would a man want a family in the feminist West? I'm assuming England has similar laws to Canada and other Commonwealth countries. If anyone in the comments has been divorce robbed in London or the UK, please let us know what it's like.
A law firm accidentally divorced the wrong couple by clicking the wrong button on a computer. The London law firm called Vardogs is run by Ayesha Vardog, who calls herself the Diva of Divorce. Their clients are high net worth, and the firm's known for its dress code for lawyers of, quote, fabulous party dressing, encouraging gold leather pants. The couple in this case had been married for 21 years and had the last name Williams. They separated and were having the firm draw up a financial arrangement. But one of the lawyers logged on to an online court website trying to divorce a completely different couple with the same last name. The lawyer applied for a divorce order, and the court granted it in 21 minutes. The lawyers didn't realize their mistake until 2 days later, and then they scrambled to try to fix it. The lawyers tried to undo the divorce, but the judge refused. He said the law is final and the mistake didn't matter. Vardog says it was a bad decision, and the ruling means that a computer can divorce you over a mistake. She also says that the wife wanted the divorce, but the husband didn't, so she thinks the accident worked out in the end.
Back to the article. Stephen J. Shaw, a data scientist whose documentary Birth Gap explores declining birth rates globally, analyzed a sample of women aged 25 to 35 who were surveyed in 2023 on their attitudes towards starting a family. He found a notable urban disparity when it comes to how easy women find it to meet a family-oriented partner, with 47% of London women citing difficulties meeting a partner as a barrier to starting families. Skipping. In London, women aged 25 to 35 also outnumber their male equivalents by 7%, arguably giving men more choice in the heterosexual dating market. For women 30 and over, they're going to have a much harder time to lock someone down because all the men they should have married know they're 304s because they smashed them without any commitment. So the data is skewed by these post walls, and for good reason. Men are biologically attracted to younger women because by the age of 30, 90% of the female's eggs are gone.
Well, because we're born with that egg supply, through time, we're decreasing the amount and the quality of those eggs. So when a woman hits the age of 30, she is down to about 10% of the egg supply that she had at birth. And when she's 40, it's down to about 3%.
But I wonder why 18 to 25-year-olds aren't in this study. Maybe they're not complaining because they're too busy sleeping around and wasting their youth and beauty on hooking up.
Single women in London, these are the red flags we are no longer putting up with in 2022, part 1. First up, he has a membership at the Ned. He may be 35, but he's still getting nosebleeds on a Tuesday night, and that's not the vibe. Number 2, grew up in Surrey. He's just looking for someone to move back to his hometown with and push out a bunch of babies for him. But honey, London queens do not leave their kingdom. 3, he wears red trousers. As a rule, we're not dating anyone that looks like a walking STI. Number 4, he works for Salesforce. Does this company employ 50% of men in this city? I want to understand what your boyfriend does for a living, but even he doesn't understand. Number 5, lives on the Central Line. Who would choose to have to take this line every time you leave your house? Psychopaths. Next up, he lives in a ham. My friend Vanessa taught me this, and I now impart this knowledge onto you. Clapham, Fulham, Balham, avoid. I can't read this one out loud, but 2022 is the year we stop being okay with this. Takes more than 2 hours to respond to text. I don't care if he's performing open heart surgery, or he's feeding the homeless, or his grandma just died. He's either obsessed with us, or he's gone. Showing up to the date in a backwards cap. You know what? I amend this to all hats. We know what you're doing. Just show us your receding hairline. Don't take yourself too seriously on his Hinge profile. This just means he's gonna gaslight you, and you better be okay with it. Mentions crypto at literally any point. He's essentially a gambling addict. Let's avoid. Any guy with a name that starts with a D, M, or S. Just trust me on this, ladies, okay?
Skipping and continuing. Shaw said there may be a London effect impacting the search for a family planning partner, even indicating that relocation from the capital may improve the likelihood of finding a suitable partner for family planning. London is one of the most expensive cities in the world. Any man with half a brain wouldn't want to waste their money living there. They want to buy a house in the future, not spend it all on renting. Us men have to be practical because no one's going to bail us out. These high-earning ladies aren't going to date down and buy the house for us.
Being a single woman in London can be quite costly, and I have been single my whole life. I'm about to turn 30, and I've lived in London for 5 years, and I can definitely say there's like a singles tax. Now, caveat to this is not a moan at all. I'm not like, well, I'm single, I have to pay for everything myself. It's more of like anybody else feel this? Now, I currently live with 3 of my friends. We live in a 4-bed house in South London. So, obviously, I pay rent and bills and all stuff like that. But I think the little costs that I notice are when I do a food shop, you either have to bulk up and eat the same food over and over, or the things that are in like single packs or smaller packs are more expensive. So it's either eat the same food for ages or have no variety and have a bit of a discount. When you go to things like weddings, parties, events, etc., and partners are invited, you still go and still pay for a hotel as a single person. So usually the cost for all of that are double because it's not split. A present would just be paid by you. Hotel, drinks, travel, all stuff like that is paid by just you. Dating. Being a single person dating is expensive. Now, before the men come at me in my comment section like, oh, it's more expensive for the man to date because he's the one who pays for everything, I, most of the time, will offer to go halves on everything. If they offer to pay, obviously, lovely. But I will always do like rounds of drinks. So like, you're 10, my 10, you're 10, my 10. But if I'm doing that once a week, like dating is still expensive. And there's no like alleviation of financial pressure. So I have to rely on myself. I can't rely on my parents. I don't have anybody in my family who's really wealthy that'll be able to give me money. So anything to do with money, I have to rely on for myself. And even though, you know, I'm fine, I run a business. And when you are your sole provider and you quit your full-time job to run a business, there's a lot of pressure. I got a lot of friends in my industry who are like, oh my God, I can't believe that you did it without having like a partner that's supporting you. And then I'm like, yes, okay. So yeah. That's just some of my thoughts. If anybody else is single and lives in a city, well, actually is just single and wants to share their experience, please do.
Sorry, Dust Bunnies. You must have your own place to not live with roommates. We don't want any brokies. Drizzle, drizzle. Back to the article. He added that variables such as demanding work schedules, high stress levels, the absence of local extended family support, urban cultural norms, cost of living, and housing availability could explain the London effect. London and every international city like New York, LA, Miami, Sydney, Tokyo is for rich men. Otherwise, you're just working to barely pay next month's rent. I salute these men for being smart, because these cities are full of entitled 304s who get flown out by athletes, entrepreneurs, and entertainers. They'll ghost you without thinking if one of the high-value men send them a text to hang out.
What about you? When's the last time you fornicated?
Last week with my boyfriend. We went on a date.
Last week?
Yeah.
Wait, how long you been in Miami?
Since Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Why isn't he here?
He's in school.
So you left him?
I left
You're
him for
a girl trip
work.
to Miami without him?
Yeah,
No,
girl
I
trip?
came by myself.
Oh
my God. Wait, how long you been here?
Since Monday.
Wait. Who you saying
Monday,
with?
so 2 days?
I'm staying with my friends.
Did you go on a boat while you were here?
I went on a yacht, yeah. But not like that.
That was worse. That was worse. That was worse.
When you want a yacht, you got. There's a thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man.
Translation. She has a placeholder, not a boyfriend. If he was smart, hopefully ex-boyfriend, the very second she left for Miami without him, he should have changed his locks and thrown her stuff out in trash bags. But that's crazy. An average thought hasn't been in Miami for 1 week and has already been on a yacht, while most men who were born in Miami have never been on a yacht and may never get the chance to. And the VIP access to a yacht doesn't come for free. At least I'm going to assume she and any female is expected to put out. That's the deal, wink wink. Continuing. Shaw told The Telegraph, "This data uncovers a remarkably high challenge in finding a family-oriented partner in London compared to other parts of the UK. Nearly half of women in the capital consider this a significant problem. With low birth rates around the world being driven by unplanned childlessness, it's evident that many women in London face a high risk of lifelong childlessness. It's because of feminism. That's the reason why they're childless. Men who are actually looking to start a family aren't looking for career women. That's the opposite of a wife and a mother."
Women who make more than their husbands in heterosexual marriages are up to 3 times more likely to get cheated on. Another recent study found that men's stress levels rise if their female partners earn more than 40% of the household income. Researchers find that promotions to top jobs dramatically increase a woman's likelihood of divorce, a pattern that does not hold true for men. In a series of studies published in the American Psychological Association's Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, men felt bad when their wives beat them at something. But they also subconsciously lost confidence when their wives got any wins, even when they weren't in direct competition with their partners. And this was true across all kinds of achievements, personal, social, and intellectual. Men felt worse about themselves when their partner succeeded compared to when she failed. And when their partner succeeded at something they failed at, their self-esteem took an even bigger hit, and in turn, their relationship satisfaction diminished. There's quite a bit of this data that seems to suggest that for ambitious women, personal success comes with a higher likelihood of relationship stress. And as long as we live in a world in which women's ambition often comes with these steep social and personal penalties, it's likely that these gender gaps will persist. In fact, there's quite a bit of research that shows women often change their behaviors in interactions that involve men to avoid this kind of backlash. For more on this kind of research and data, visit tooambitious.com to subscribe.
Back to the article. Phoebe Arslangic-Little, head of the New Deal for Parents at Onward, a campaign which investigates how we can make it easier for people to have the children they want, said one factor that makes it particularly difficult to start a family in London is sky-high housing costs, forcing young people to live in house shares or with their parents for far longer than they want to. How about not raise a family in London? But these modern women want to live in a big city and live out their own drama. Living somewhere affordable and kid-friendly would be too boring for them. They want excitement and to be a girl boss.
How I have afforded living in London for the past 4 years on an average salary. I moved to London just before the pandemic hit in 2019. So this was 4 years ago and I started on 21 grand, and I kid you not, if I didn't have Instagram and my social media as a side hustle, I would have had to leave. This was 4 years ago, never mind now. So I went straight into a flat share in Southfields, which is near Wimbledon, and that was $690 a month, I believe, and then it went up to just over 700, which I think was a pretty good deal, to be honest. It was such a nice area, but obviously staying in a flat share is not realistic, and the people that I lived with were not it. It was the second lockdown maybe when we were allowed to view places. Me and one of my best friends moved into this place, and this is in the best area ever. Like, it is a mini Clapham. It's where everyone wants to be now, and I will definitely tell you guys where I lived when I don't live here anymore, because you need to live here. It's so good. It's 2-bedroom, it's got a balcony, and over the last couple of years the landlord's only raised it like a tiny amount realistically compared to what I hear from my friends. But being real, if I had not have had Instagram on the side to keep me afloat, I didn't make food content for restaurants, so I get some of my restaurant meals gifted, I would not have been able to live the London life. And I'm probably on like an average wage, but truly people who are less, I just don't know how they survive, because it is rough out here. So if you're looking to move to London in this crisis, I would really recommend using Spare Room to look for a room. It's so good, so much cheaper. Well, I don't know these days, but when I moved here it was so much cheaper. Or get yourself a side hustle. Honestly, it helps so much.
I wonder how many Sims she finds on social media that pay her bills just because she's cute. She mentioned twice, if it's not for social media, she wouldn't be able to afford living in London. Just makes you wonder. Skipping ahead, Philly Pania, financial coach at Philly Financial, works with high-achieving women looking to build wealth and said, "I've seen an increasing number of my high-achieving female clients struggle to find the right man. These women are bright, attractive, have good jobs and high salaries, yet cannot find an equal to marry. And that's the problem. The equal is the bare minimum, if not a placeholder, to these high-achieving women. As I've said, women want to move up the social class ladder, and this especially in the UK where there is a class system, it's much harder than the US. The UK still has dukes and duchess. It's not like America where the class system is mostly based on how much money you have. These women are insufferable because you can't tell them anything, especially if you make less. They'll emasculate you at every disagreement.
I don't date broke men. I wouldn't date a broke man.
Why not? Why wouldn't you date a broke
Because
man? What
it's
if he had all
hard
his
out
shit
there
together?
in the streets. It's
Broke
hard.
men
And
are
like, if
loyal.
I'm dating, if I'm like taken off of the roster, whatever, I need to be taken care of.
Yeah,
I don't want to be
that's-
struggling
I mean-
with a man. Broke men are so bitter. They use women. They're literally so bitter with their life.
Whoa.
It becomes like abusers. I'm not kidding. They hate themselves. They hate themselves.
No. No.
They're so mean and they're insecure as
Damn.
They're so insecure.
I have the utmost respect for guys. No, there's a difference because in your
No,
world,
no.
what you consider a broke man would be like a firefighter. For instance, like a guy's a firefighter, you'd look and be like, hey, he's a broke man, you know what?
That's not true.
They think because you make less, they have the right to treat you like trash, and when you complain about it, they'll gaslight you by calling you insecure. This is why they qualify for the soft guy era. In order for us to hang out with their miserable asses, we need to be paid and pampered. Drizzle drizzle. Continuing. In 2022, the birth rate in England and Wales dropped to the lowest on record, standing at 1.49 children per woman. Get rid of the divorce laws and child support, you'll see more men wanting to have kids. Because most of these men who really want to start a family become a passport bro and move to a traditional country. As always, I wish you tremendous success. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember that if you leave the best comment, you'll get $5. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads, drop a comment, and share it. See you in the next video. Till next time.